Hi. Okay, I've had a ton of emails asking about the famed mythical pressure point knockout. People are asking me, can it really be done? Are the clips on YouTube that I've seen real? What about in a real fight? Could you really hit these tiny little points? Okay, let's address those issues one by one. Can they be done? Yes. The clips on YouTube. Okay. I would say that a vast majority, 75, 80% of the clips on YouTube that I've seen people perform are indeed fake. Yeah. I've knocked a lot of people out in the ring, in the street, in training, and nobody's ever fallen over with their legs crossed. You know, it just doesn't happen. So all of those ones, they're fake. Now, that does not mean that the person doing it is a fake or a fraudster or something like that. I'm not saying that. Because it could well be this scenario. Example, if I knew you and I knew that you were more than capable of doing a pressure point knockout with a very light strike, and you said to me, Russ, I don't want to really smack you on and make sure I knock you out. If I give you a tap, do you mind just falling over a little bit? Or allowing it to happen, allowing the feeling to take over and not fight back in any way, just so it looks a little bit more dramatic than it actually is for the power of the strike, then maybe I can understand that. And, that's fair enough. If you genuinely know that the other guy can do it, why take a smack in the mouth that you don't need to take? Look at it this way. If you know that somebody's got the most explosive, powerful roundhouse kick you've ever seen, there is little point in them kicking you full speed and full power in the head just to prove that it's a good kick. You know it's a good kick. So they might flick one up and just tap it in and off. Yeah, but you knew it was a great kick. Okay, so I give them that little bit of leeway. So can they be done? Yes, of course they can. I make no excuse for the fact that it's a learned skill, but a very quickly learned skill. I can teach somebody to do a knockout in a few minutes. Could they apply it in a real fight? Probably not, because they need to have real fighting skills, as I've mentioned before on previous videos. Okay, let's address this issue of, can you hit these little itty bitty pen nib sized pressure points in a fight? Okay, let's get down to brass tacks on this one. When you're talking pressure points, they're deep under the skin. They're not on the surface. Okay, they're not like just here on the surface. They're deep inside. When you talk about pressure points, most people think of these tiny little pressure points that are used and touched with an acupuncture needle. Absolutely true, absolutely right. But the area of activation of that point, when you're applying the strike correctly, is far greater. It's roughly the size of your fist. So, for example, if there's a point here, somewhere 5 if you really want to know, and you wallop your fist on it, you've hit it, and you've hit other ones as well. So, yes, of course they can be hit. Now, let's address this issue of hitting something small, a small target in a fight, and all these self-defense people who go on about gross motor skills and you're lucky just to hit them in the head. Yes, you are lucky just to hit them in the head if that's how you train. My reply to all the self-defense people when they say things like that is, yeah, maybe that's you then. Think of it this way. If you're a pistol shooter, you don't go to the range, just go bang, 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 and hope it hits the target, because you'd be lucky to hit a target under stress. You train and train and train to hit the bullseye. You train and train and train to hit the target exactly where you want to hit it every single time. Of course you're not going to hit exactly where you want every single time, but you train to do so. And so it is, believe it or not, with learning how to strike properly, learning how to fight properly. You train to be as good as you can possibly be. You train to have the best technique that you can possibly have, whether it's ground fighting, throwing, takedowns, striking, anything. You train to have the best possible technique, which means you're going to be accurate, you're going to be quick, you're going to be explosive, you're going to be powerful. All those attributes are going to be in place. And to say that you should have all those attributes in place, but you can't be accurate, is absolute bollocks. So all these self-defense people who do that, it's their own lack of training and it's their own lack of knowledge. Of course, you can hit a smaller area in a fight. And you should be trying and aiming to hit a small area in a fight. Just like when you do a throw, you've got to be technically correct. If your hips are nowhere near where they should be, you ain't going to get the throw. Just like when you're on the ground trying to apply a lock. If your fulcrum, lever and base is not where it should be, you ain't going to get the lock. You have to be fairly accurate. It's the same with every single technique. Okay, so that's my little go about it. Pressure point knockouts. Think of it as a knockout using pressure points, as well as all the other attributes you should have in place. For example, if I'm lucky enough to land a big right hand on somebody's jaw, I'm going to be aiming for the right place and in the right way to get the quickest, most effective knockout I possibly can, utilizing not only pressure points, but all the other attributes required to get the knockout. So if I don't quite hit the point, or somebody's moved at the last second, it's caught them somewhere else, or whatever, anything that can go wrong does go wrong, I still want to be connecting hard enough and correctly enough to get enough brain shake to either knock them out or inflict enough pain, damage, disorientation that the next strike does it. You do not use just pressure points when you're trying to knock somebody out. You use everything else that you know and add pressure points to it. So yes, short answer, pressure point knockouts do exist. In training, in demonstration, which is very different again, at very low power levels and with a compliant partner, you can knock somebody out with the amount of pressure you would use or power you use to knock on somebody's door. Okay? In demonstration. Now that's just a demonstration of the effectiveness of the point on its own, because no other things are in place. So that gives you an idea of how effective they can be once you add everything else in. Okay? They massively increase the effectiveness of what you're doing. Alright? But a demonstration and training and practice are very, very different to a real fight. Put it another way, for those who do grappling, when you're learning a new lock or training a new lock with a compliant partner and you're having just a nice little roll to try different things, tap, carry on, that kind of thing, you never, ever, ever slam that lock on full speed and power past the point that it breaks. You apply it, and you apply it slowly, gently, until your partner taps. That's called training and learning. So why do you think it would be any different when you're hitting things and learning how pressure points work? You start the right way and build up until you can do it full speed, full power. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth, or 2p's worth, depending on where you're from. More next time. Thanks a lot.